Charlena Cavender, Community Director of Kirtland Family Housing at Kirtland Air Force Base, is the epitome of Hageman and Johnson's definition of transformational leadership. They define this approach to leadership as empowering and inspirational. It elevates leaders and followers to higher levels of motivation and morality. The goal of my interview with Charlena was to understand the experiences in which led her to where she is today. I wanted to know if she considered herself a born leader or if these characteristics developed along the way. I was interested in learning about the trials and tribulations in which she endured and what kept her going during those tough times. In this presentation, I'm going to tell you how she went from being a single mother of two, bouncing from job to job, to making one of the biggest transformations of a property that Hunt Military Communities has ever experienced. To say that Charlena had a rough childhood would be a severe understatement. At the age of 16, she ran away from her Chicago home and landed in North Dakota. At the age of 34, she became a single mother of two with no job experience. The first job she took was in a small title shop. Though she had no experience, she knew that she could learn. When she was told by the office manager just a few weeks in that it wasn't working out, she was devastated. After all, she gives 110% to everything she does. In fact, she even offered to stay until they found a replacement. That's just the kind of person she is. It wasn't long before another coworker learned that she'd been let go. Knowing her situation, strong work ethic, and passion to succeed, he told her that he'd gladly put in a good word for her at the bank where his brother worked. While she enjoyed working at the bank, it wasn't making ends meet. A part-time position at Blockbuster opened near the bank, so she applied. She worked there for about a year when the assistant management job opened. She applied and received the promotion. Shortly after, a friend informed her of a leasing agent position that was open at Laughlin Air Force Base. Though she knew she would be taking a significant pay cut, she applied for the job hoping it would open doors to more opportunities down the road. She was hired and worked there for about a year when the community director position opened. She applied, but her application wasn't even reviewed. Blockbuster had recently contacted her, offering a significant pay raise to come back. She realized she couldn't turn it down and left Laughlin. It didn't take long before the new community director was fired. She again applied for the position. This time she interviewed, but wasn't hired. The same scenario took place again less than a year later. She applied once more, but yet again wasn't offered the position. The fourth time the position became available, she was once again encouraged by a friend to apply. She refused, stating that if they wanted her, they could call her. And they did. She described working at Laughlin as hell. Customer service was bad, files and paperwork were bad, and the houses were a mess. 4 years later, she was finally able to leave work at 5 o'clock every night, and the office was essentially running itself. She credits this to her 10 years of experience at Blockbuster. As a manager there, she learned a lot about financials, inventory, customer service, how to organize and run an office, and maintain employee relationships. Just as things were finally running smoothly, the position at Kirtland came open. Even applying for this position was a difficult choice for her, as she had poured so much into the community at Laughlin. She finally realized the significance of the position and decided to take the promotion. When she got to Kirtland, it was even worse than she thought, and her assistant wasn't any help. In fact, she even called HR on Charlena within the first few months. As hard as it was, she didn't take it personal. Charlena knew that things would get better. Her assistant just needed someone to show her that she could do it. As if that wasn't enough, she didn't even have a maintenance director, and the houses were in terrible shape. She knew she was going to have to put a lot of money into getting them where they needed to be. She just never realized how much. When it was all said and done, she'd spent over $500,000 in less than a year on capital repair costs. She considered this to be one of her biggest failures, and at the time, she thought she was going to be fired. There were so many other things that she was doing and fixing, especially with her staff, that even staying at work until 9 or 10 o'clock every night, the budget didn't receive the attention it needed. To this day, it still bothers her and at times hinders her ability to make big decisions. According to Bob Eaton, a leader is someone who can take a group of people to a place they don't think they can go. That is exactly what Charlena did when she got to Kirtland. She took a property from 88 to 98% occupancy in less than 3 years. For the first time since the project opened in 2005, the team left. And as the marketing coordinator, I can tell that people finally have more good things to say than bad. How did she do all these things in such a short time? She cares about her employees. She recognizes her faults and admits when she's wrong. When asked what she learned from the leaders in her life, she said that she learned to be a great leader by being everything that they were not. There are so many things that led me to see Charlena as a leader in the short time that I've known her. First and foremost is her willingness to communicate. Her door is always open. And whether personal or professional, she was always there for her employees and residents, even when she doesn't necessarily agree with what they have to say. Second, she uses storytelling to relay messages and create understanding for her employees, allowing them to know who she is as a person and not just as their boss. And finally, she has high emotional intelligence. I cried during my interview when it came time to discuss my start date, as it meant arranging childcare for my son that I'd be leaving for the first time. She offered me a tissue, told me that she understood what I was going through, and told me stories of sending her own children to daycare. She concluded the conversation by assuring me that if at any time it became too hard for me to leave him, just to let her know. Though this may not be my dream job, working for Charlena truly is. Ralph Nader said that the function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers, and that is exactly what Charlena has set out to do.